make a difference? Well, let me show you this really cool chart. You may have seen this before if you've been with me for a long time. You may not have. So what you're looking at right here is you are looking at a chart called intradiscal pressures. And I know that sounds like, what? Intradiscal pressures. Hey, Stephanie, great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Happy Wednesday to you. What is intradiscal pressures? Intradiscal pressure is, I'll switch back to this camera right here, is, so here's the front part of your bone of your low back. This is the one below. And you have this structure right here, the white structure called the disc or intervertebral disc. And so intradiscal pressure is how much compression pressure is happening to this disc. And when I say that, how much is that disc getting compressed down like that? Okay, so hey Marisa, happy Wednesday to you too. Great to have you here as always. So let's take a look at this. So I'll blow it up a little bit for you right here. So what you're looking at is the numbers over there are kilograms of pressure on your discs in your low back. So what's the least amount? Well, the least amount right here is lying on your back. And I also tell my patients, if you're going to be doing this, you want to make sure that your knees are bent. So put a couple pillows underneath your knees. It actually relaxes your low back even more. So if you're in pain, if you're dealing with a low back issue right now, and you're trying to figure out what posture should I be in, what position should I get in, that's going to be the one typically that you're going to want to do. And you can ice your low back at the same time, okay? So that's 25 kilograms of pressure in your disc. The only thing that can actually make this pressure go lower than that is actually spinal decompression. And people are going to go, wait a minute, what about inversion tables? Well, that's a great question. And if you read the Harvard study that I've talked about before, they've actually realized that inversion tables increase the pressure in your disc. They do not decrease it. So when patients ask me, shouldn't I do an inversion table? Would an inversion table be good for me? I would definitely say in the first part of your care when you're really acute, you're in a lot of pain, I highly would not recommend them because we know that it increases the pressure and we want to do the opposite. Okay, so makes sense? Good. The next thing you can do is you can lie on your side when you're in bed. But the crazy part is look what it does. You go from 25 kilograms to 75 kilograms of pressure. Then let's go to standing and working positions. So should you get a standing desk? Well, it's a great question, right? Well, let's take a look here. If you stand at your desk and you're standing pretty well straight up, that's 100 kilograms of pressure in your low back disc. If you sit in your chair and you're leaning back against the chair, now you've got another 40 kilograms of pressure. But that's not what most people do. What do most people do? They're doing what this guy is doing right here, and that is leaning forward on the chair with no support behind their back usually, leaning toward their keyboard, leaning toward their screen, and now you're up to 185 kilograms of pressure into your low back disc. Oh, you forgot your briefcase underneath your desk and you lean forward to grab it like that, now you just went to 275. So why do we talk about these numbers? Well, it's because the greater the compression into the disc is not designed to do structures like that on a regular basis. So the more compression of that disc, the more pulling occurs on the tissues that try to hold that jelly in on the inside right there. Okay, so you have these things called annular fibers, and those are the rings that sit around right here. And here's that jelly on the inside. So when you look at a model like this, what happens is you get constant compression of that disc like this. That jelly's getting pushed on. It's like a liquid ball bearing. It's got to go somewhere. So unfortunately, usually what it's going to do eventually is as you're leaning forward like that, that jelly can start to come out and start putting pressure on your spinal cord or your nerves, and that's called a disc herniation. Okay, so that's what it is. And so you want to stay young and staying fit? Well, you want to spend some more time standing versus sitting. And if you're having a not great day or you just want to take a lot of unloading off of your spine, you want to go down to where you're laying on your back with your knees bent. Okay? So I hope that is helpful in helping you understand how we go forward. Because remember, you look at an old person who's got great posture, they're still really active usually in life. They have good respiration, cardiovascular system's usually strong, muscular system's strong, they look good, they're active, they're participating in life. But you get a person like right up here, where we go into this This posture, even if they're standing, over a period of time, the bones remodel themselves. And what winds up happening is the bones change their shape permanently and you can't stand back up again. So that whole thing when, if you're old school, your parents are old school, and you went to school and you put a book on your head and you had to carry it like that, yeah, we should probably get back to that a little bit more, I think. Create awareness and posture, because posture not only affects the physical components and the anatomy of it, but we know, if you've been with me, it changes cortisol levels, it changes testosterone levels, and it actually decreases risk tolerance, makes you afraid to go do stuff. That's the endocrine part of how it affects our body and how it works. So there's a lot of things, and you do that for 30 years, it can play a big role in it. So when we're looking at a slide like this, same thing. So, we want you, oops, sorry about that. Want you, when you're on your phone, holding your phone up in front of your face like that, okay? Just like that. Because we know if the head goes forward, like we just talked about, if you're standing looking at your phone or sitting, we know that sustained posture like this creates so much compression onto the disc. Because remember, in the neck, the disc is only designed to support 25% of the weight of your head. So when you're like this, right here, you have approximately 25% of the weight of your head in the front, and back here in the back part called the facet joints, you have 75%. That's the way it was designed by God. I'll ask him why when I get to meet him someday, but that's what we've learned from a lot of engineers that have studied human spine and looked at the geometry of that and how it supports us. So we want you looking like this, not like that, because we know if you go forward like that for sustained periods of time, and most people do, especially our young kids, right? You get way more compression, and eventually you're going to tear those discs, and it's going to cause a lot of aging and a lot of pain and discomfort for you. So, all right, so that's one of my tips for today for you. If you happen to be suffering with bulging or herniated discs right now, and you're trying to figure out a way of managing that, and you're looking for a non-invasive, non-surgical approach, this is what we do. This is what I have specialized in for over 25 years. So you look at this picture right here, number one, this is that jelly that is squirted out and pushing onto these nerves. We don't want that. That's usually going to cause you a lot of pain. So we want to help retract that jelly back in, and you can do that with spinal decompression, which is amazing. So we want to get you back closer to picture 2 right here, eventually get it where we can pull it as much back in as possible, and then here we want to help heal the fibers so you can have a healthy disc again. And most people can have really high success with it. Here's Dennis McClure. This is one of the top neurosurgeons in the United States. Unfortunately, he's not with us anymore. But he said, hey, most patients will come in presenting to a neurosurgeon or spine specialist with an abnormal MRI, while the referring doctor tells them they have degenerative disc disease causing their pain. He says, throughout my years of practice, those patients with back pain want to know why, the causes, and how. Here, check this out. They want to know how to effectively treat their back pain without surgery. So we'll skip some of the bigger part. He says, it's a misconception. This is a neurosurgeon that has been in practice for over 30 years and did a lot of research and published a lot of research articles. It's a misconception by the public that surgery fixes a person's back pain. Why? He says, if that was true, we would never have patients with failed back surgery syndrome. And that's a real thing. And I don't want that happening to you. And you don't want that either. So that's why we try to show some more natural approaches. So let me show you this cool thing. And again, this has to do with aging. You look at people when they age, right? If they don't take good care of themselves, they get less mobile, less flexible, they're stiff, they have posture, that starts leaning forward. They don't feel as good. Their body doesn't move as good. It doesn't work as good because the nervous system controls all the parts of the body. So look at this. This is a study of 219 patients in the orthopedic technology of November and December of 2003. 219 patients, 86 after, this is doing spinal decompression versus surgery, 86% of them had improvements in their ability to move. I mean, if that's your low back or your neck, that's awesome, right, for you. 86% had immediate changes and resolutions of their symptoms. 86% without surgery or without drugs. 92% of them had physical exam findings. That means improved range of motion, reflexes, motor strength in their legs or arms. That's pretty incredible. And what's cool is that then they followed him for 90 days. Did they still have relief of symptoms? And 84% of them remained pain-free 90 days after treatment. I think that's pretty awesome, if you ask me. So, if this is your first time here, we want to welcome you if you're watching this. If you're suffering with back pain, if you're suffering with knee pain, if you just can't live life anymore, you're frustrated, you're having tears of pain and worry instead of tears of joy because your back's not working and you can't be the mom or you can't be the wife that you used to be. You can't be the parent that you'd like to your children if you have children. You can't work like you used to be able to. We would love to help you. Let our 25 years of experience go to work for you non-surgically. And it's pretty amazing. We created an amazing course called Disc University. I created one for the low back and the neck. I hope you'll go take a look at it and see if it'd be a great fit for you. I try to price it so it's very doable for anybody, and I take you step by step over a 12-week period and show you how to really get your spine to be healthy again. And the cool part is you get to do it from the comfort of your home. So I hope you go take a look at our website. It's on our bios here, so you can click on those either on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, and click that and go take a look at that. I just wrote an ebook. It's going to be out here in the next week on how to determine if your back pain is coming from a bulging or herniated disc. So might get that to you for free. So take a look for that. That'll be out really soon. So if nobody's got any questions for me, I always love answering them and guiding you to be here and live a better life. And I don't want you aging. I want you to slow that process down as much as possible so you can have the absolute best quality of life you can. And I'd love to help you get there. So just let me know how we can assist you. You can write, DM me, anything like that. We can hop on a discovery call and chat a little bit about if you're dealing with a situation and see if I can help guide you. Okay? All right. To everyone that's out there, I hope you have an absolutely incredible and beautiful day. And we'll see you next week at 1 o'clock.